Okay, YouTube. So I'm doing a video on how to properly install valve seals, and this is actually the second video. I recorded the middle of the video, which after it's edited will be the middle, and now we're on to this point where actually this is back to like almost half the beginning, half the end. So what happens is, and you'll notice that these are different ones than you saw me trim down in the video, but the valve seals from the James gasket set. This is for a shovel head top end, and the valve seals don't fit, so you have to shave them down. I'm going to show you how I get that measurement, and then the second video is actually shaving them down. But if you don't get this kit where it's the top end gasket kit with the fire ring, you probably don't know what you're doing, because it's a little more expensive, but the fire ring will stop it from ever having head gasket issues. And it comes with everything for the top end. Head gaskets, the metal base gaskets, which never you can never be without those, because the paper ones go bad every couple of years. And then the rocker box covers, along with all the gaskets for push rods. Anyway, so the way I do this is, first of all, I always mark all my parts to keep them together, and this is after cleaning. So that's front intake, and then the springs, that's the upper retainer, and the lower retainer, the same thing. So what happens is, when you put the lower retainer on and then you try to put the James valve seal on, it hits the retainer long before it gets all the way down. In fact, it sticks up so far that the upper retainer would hit it when the valve opens and crush it. So I'm not sure why they put them in, because they can't be used the way they put them in. They're pretty long. They can't be used that way. So if it is that you want to use these, you can't. The other thing is the lower retainer, normally there's a lip that sticks up here. So you have to grind that lip off to get a little extra clearance. If not, it again, you can't get this on far enough and down far enough. Even with the cheapy metal ones, these are what I originally had on there, but I don't use these anymore. But these are enough to go down, but they don't go inside of it. And you have to give yourself enough clearance between the valve seal and the lower retainer that they don't touch. Because if they touch, this could bounce around and knock the seal up, which you don't want. So the other thing I have my machinist do that does my guide work and cuts my seats, because I don't have the tools for that, is I have them grind the top of I don't know if you can see that on there, but the valve guide down to help the seals go on a lot easier. Now these heads had 30,000 miles on them on my chopper, and they were done in I believe it was, I don't know, 2005, and I might have had them done after that. But anyway, the seat's been cut and the valve's been lapped, and then I keep the valve with the seat that it was lapped to. So this is front head, and obviously because it's bigger, it's the intake. So front intake, front head. So the way I check for the clearances I need is I put the lower keeper on, and then I take a vernier caliper and I just do a simple little check where I take the top of the vernier caliper and I take the depth gauge, I hold it down, hold it flat, and I take the top of the guide to the lower retainer. And on this one, it's 290, 0.290. And then you come over here and I check them in 2 or 3 places. Make sure it's straight. And it is, so 291. You can check it in all 4 places, but it shouldn't really change all too much, as long as when you grind that lower keeper down, the lower valve retainer down, you grind that lip off of it, you grind it flat. So 292, so it's pretty flat. So what happens is at that point, you cut these down, and when you check them all, I checked them all, and the closest one was 280 when I checked them all, with the retainer, lower retainer that goes for each spot. I check them all, and the lowest one was 280. So I cut all these less than 280. They're probably anywhere from 270 or somewhere around there. I take it and I check it, and if you look, that one's 270. So I got it right. You know, they should all be around that number. That one's 272. That way there's about 10 thousandths clearance at the tightest spot. That one's 270 also. So anyway, that is what you have to do to get the seal the proper clearance, because you don't want it sticking up. When you sit down on there, they have to bottom out and not touch this so this doesn't pop them off. And you can see these come, the metal ones come a lot shorter. You don't have to grind these. See, that one's 260 right, you know, right out of the box. And here's another one, 250. They're all usually around 250. Maybe there was some dirt when I was checking it. Yeah, 256 on that one. So you don't have to grind on these metal ones. There's more than enough clearance. But these, they come around almost 4/10 of an inch. They're like 390. So you really have to grind them down a lot. And the video that it'll be with this video shows me grinding them. Anyway, that is how these are done. Now, I wanted to show in the video it actually being assembled. So anytime I assemble anything, I always take and I put a lot of assembly lube on everything so that it's not dry when I'm starting for the first time. So I'll just take and very liberal. These heads are all clean, ready to go. All the parts are clean, ready to go. And, you know, I just, like I say, I put plenty of this on. Even try to get a little down in here. And a little on the other side of the guide, so that there's plenty of lube as this valve's going in. And like I say, this is the proper way to put your valve seals on. So I kind of in and out and give it a twist while I'm doing this so that there's plenty of lube. And you can see the lube come all the way through. Now these guides have been checked and everything's good with them. And also the valve seats were cut. So this is about what I do, and then you can always just throw a rag under there to make sure it's held up. And then you have to put the seal on. And this is the way, like I say, this is the way to do this. Now, I put a little lube in on the seal. I put a little assembly lube right on the lip here, where the valve comes through, to make sure that, again, that nothing's going together dry, because that's how you tear stuff up. And then I have to get a socket. All right, I just get an assortment of sockets. I generally like to use a 12-point. And then you slip this over, and just like that, nice and easy. And then you bring it down. And now just tap them down until they stop. You don't want to go too far and disfigure anything. And then that's it. It's not overly complicated. And then you can see my lower retainer, it's not hitting it because that's free. It has a little play there. And hopefully it has about 10,000s, and then a lot of times that's coming. You can hear it stopped, and then you can see that's free. And then from there, it's just a matter of a simple install with the spring and the upper retainer. Now they have valve, this is a really good one, but they have valve spring compressors on eBay, a whole kit you can get, and they are relatively inexpensive for sure. So, you know, don't be afraid to go there and pick one up, or go get a good one. Everybody's all about support your local business. Okay, you can see where they both kind of dropped in, and then I just kind of bring it out slowly, make sure they're where they belong, and then that's it. And that's how you get your valve seals into your shovel heads. And this is for my chopper. So what happens on this is I have split rocker boxes, and of course they just go on once you put the gaskets on like that, once they're fully assembled. So that should about size up what I'm doing and how I do it. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. Subscribe, like it, appreciate that. And I have some more videos coming in a little bit. Also, one quick thing I do want to say, and on a shovel head, it's very important that the holes on the tappets face each other, because if not, they won't get oiled. If you face one out or both out, they won't get oiled, and you can damage them that way, obviously. So they have to face each other. And one other thing is, anytime you have your lifters out, and if you have any kind of miles, you know, especially a shovel, I would say 20,000 or above, get the wheels replaced, the wheels and bearings that ride on the cam. These have they had about 30,000 on them. The gentleman I use, it's John at John's Cycle in Chester, Pennsylvania. He has a machine, or a fixture, where he takes the old centerpiece out, the inner race or the roller inner, the shaft. He takes the old shafts out, and he puts new shafts, bearings, and wheels on. And I think total it cost me $90 at the most. Now you see they have a little bit of scratches in them, but you can't even feel any of these scratches with your fingernail. So it looks a lot worse than it truly is. And hopefully that helps. All right, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.